Without spoiling this week's episode of Severance, which was huge, let's talk references. There's a compelling connection between the Chikhai Bardo, the episode title, and the death of Ivan Ilyich, mentioned at the beginning and also at the end of the episode, particularly in the way that both explore the transition between life and death as a moment of potential enlightenment. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Chikhai Bardo is the phase when the dying person encounters the, quote, clear light of reality, which, if recognized, leads to liberation. However, fear and attachment often prevent this recognition, causing the soul to continue through other bardos and ultimately reincarnate. Similarly, Ivan Ilyich spends most of his life avoiding the reality of death, immersing himself in societal expectations, career ambitions, and superficial pleasures. When he does fall ill, he initially resists the truth, clinging to the belief that his suffering is unfair and undeserved. This mirrors the way a soul in Chikhai Bardo might fail to recognize the clear light due to fear and attachment and fail to move on. However, in his final moments, Ivan experiences a profound realization. He sees that his life, driven by external validation, was inauthentic. He finally lets go of his fear and embraces death, and much like a person in Chikhai Bardo, attains enlightenment by recognizing the true nature of his reality. In fact, his last words are, quote, "Instead of death, there was light." And this suggests that he reaches a form of spiritual clarity or transcendence akin to the soul merging with clear light. So Ivan Ilyич's journey can be seen as a secular existential version of the Chikhai Bardo, where death is not just an end, but an opportunity for profound realization. Though whether it leads to true liberation is left ambiguous. Gemma's death as a Bardo state. In Severance, Gemma, Mark's wife, who appears to be dead in his outie life yet is seemingly alive inside Lumen as Miss Casey, this creates a parallel to the Bardo, the Tibetan concept of an intermediate state between life and rebirth. If she is dead in one reality but is conscious in another, she is existing in a liminal space, just as Ivan Ilyich lingers between denial and the acceptance of his death, and just as a soul in the Chikhai Bardo might be caught between enlightenment and karmic continuation. Denial of death and the fear of reality. Both Ivan Ilyich and Mark struggle with denial. Ivan resists the truth of his mortality until his final moments, and Mark numbs himself to grieve over Gemma's death by choosing severance. In the Tibetan Buddhist thought, the Chikhai Bardo offers a chance to recognize the truth, but fear and attachment prevent many from seeing it. So similarly, Mark's outie clings to the belief that Gemma is gone, while his innie remains unaware of the deeper reality. Possible enlightenment or continued illusion. At the end of the death of Ivan Ilyich, Ivan finally surrenders to death and experiences light instead. If Severance follows a similar arc, Gemma or Mark could eventually experience a moment of realization, perhaps about the true nature of Severance, about Lumen, or even life itself. However, like in the Bardo, failing to recognize the truth would mean staying trapped in the cycle, whether that's the cycle of corporate control, memory loops, or some more existential form of reincarnation within Lumen's system. In this sense, Gemma's existence within Lumen might represent a form of Bardo where she is neither truly alive nor dead, and where the potential for enlightenment or escaping Lumen depends on whether Mark and others can recognize the truth.